any indecisiveness when you approach these CT sides. And if you do slip up here and there, the T-sided protocols nowadays can punish very, very easily. And I definitely think Evil Geniuses are one of those types of teams to be able to punish any lackadaisical play from Wildcard. But we're ready to hop into game. We're hopping into Ancient. Do or die for Wildcard. A potential just sweep out of the tournament on deck here for the CTs. Can they bounce back here, Laz?
Yeah, I think that's the $1 million question right now, is to see if they can bring things back, push it to the distance, or this might be a bit of a sweep in terms of them having that, 0-4. But like we said, EG is going to start on this T side. P250 going to be equipped here for automatic this time, whereas I think we saw that before it was for junior. And now you can see a bit of a split. You get that 1-4 setup right now from EG. jeorge getting ready for the pop flash close. A lot more slow of a pace coming in from EG. Wildcard again, locking in 3 players in the B site, playing the 1-1-3. And this is actually a pretty standard setup, but a lot of respect's being given right now. And EG, they're getting free real estate and a free headshot too. Why not? And now they're just going to bombard the site.
I think they spotted Cryptic, so those dualies will not be able to get ready close up. And Darty, actually, I see Darty, he only gets 1, but he gets 2 as well as that bomb goes down. So still an even keel situation here for Wildcard to pull things over. No kit involved, so they've got to get the pace up right now. So they're starting to duel in the back of the site, and Darty goes massive with 2 more. And there's Freshie with a quick flank. Darty going huge on the back of the B bomb site. And I mean, Evil Geniuses had everything in their hands there. Smoke on the left side of the B site as well as the plant. You'd think that it's all locked in for EG, but Darty says no.
And this is the thing too. I mean, we needed to see somebody, kind of, start things up, get the momentum moving a little bit. And yeah, I wasn't expecting it from Darty, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but I was thinking somebody else, like, like Slide or maybe Brett or somebody. But yeah, Darty's going to put a quad kill to get things moving. A chaotic pistol round, the USP just finding heads. And now they put themselves at a 1-0. They can fully equip themselves with the MP9s and the double M4s. Mollies and nades going to be thrown into middle. It's going to push back EG just a little bit. A Galil actually purchased now from Automatic, working around with some Deegs in addition to this. And it looks like it might just be a full A hit here. And I mean, that is just going to be Freshie locking it down by himself.
Ooh, I think maybe a bit of a one-way here potentially for Freshie. And he does get the duel that he wants, but he can't convert it onto jeorge. So smoke in the middle of the A site to potentially prime in an A bomb plant, but Brett actually shuts that down instantaneously. That hero Galil also goes down to the nade, or sorry, to Darty rather, with the A1S. So it's just the pistols left up in this for EG. Junior's flank in middle doesn't work out, and a flying MP9 shuts down Hex. So the conservative approach from Evil Geniuses doesn't net them a bomb plant, but hey, they've still got themselves out of buy in the next. And I do still like that even after the bomb plant, they didn't want to push the issue with a full gun round there, with meager utility.
No, I love the play, though. I love the creativity. And I mean, even though they didn't get the round, I mean, they did a little bit of damage, but nothing too much. And now we're in here for the full rifles coming in from EG. You're going to have the 1 Galil still available here for Automatic. And now it looks like, again, they might just put a little bit more on the boost. The nade might actually do some good damage. Well, it's going to actually just go past Junior, and it actually connects onto Walco, funny enough. So the booster is going to get caught a little bit here. Good amount of work coming in from EG, just kind of trying to burn this utility as much as possible. And look at what they have available now, Paladin. I mean, 1 minute and 23, and we're talking about 3 smokes with 1 Molotov as the complement.
And they're really just holding back to potentially just wait for some utility to be drained, maybe a CT re-aggression somewhere around the map, but Wildcard aren't really budging. They're very willing to play pretty passive on middle. You have Brett kind of jiggling in donut, and you don't even have real dig pressure from Wildcard either. Finally, a play being made here by Darty, trying to clear out lane. They're gonna have to clear out HexT hard, or else this could spell disaster. But the timing is just awful. They're not actually clearing that corner out completely was Darty. And Slight also goes down behind him, and there's Cryptic falling as well. Automatic wins the donut duel, and it's just Freshie just wondering where all his teammates disappeared. It's just raw timings being won out there from EG.
I just can't believe it too. I mean, Hex was playing kind of a standard position. It wasn't like it was, a unique angle, but they were clearing. They thought that somebody was going to be inside that T door. And they just, like you said, Hex goes for the right peak at the right time, and it comes right down to seconds, like right there. And that just gave him a triple kill out of nowhere. He finds the 2, he swings on the ramp, and he's able to get another one. And it just all fell apart. It just tumbled down quickly for Wildcard. And look what the kind of situation now we're talking about. Couple pistols, but USPs, as the addition as well. This is not an easy one for Wildcard to kind of give up, and they didn't even find one kill at all.
Yeah, we talk about that damage that came out through that Hero Galil round, and now it's basically rearing its ugly head. You would have thought that maybe Wildcard would have another buyout on the table should they have gone through that round flawlessly, but instead it's just more wreaking of havoc here from Evil Geniuses. As the flash, the utility, beautiful there from EG, circumvents the A main pressure, and there's Walco and George to clean things up as well. Just Brett to potentially snag away a rifle here if he could. Great little double dink there, and now he's gonna hightail it, head for the hills. I was gonna say maybe they delay the bomb plant so they could get closer to taking this gun away, but they're gonna hunt nevertheless. I'd be surprised if Brett could hold on to this with no armor. I'll say that much.
Yeah, he's going to have to win these fights and pretty much essentially land this double tap or, one tap and pretty much straight to the dome. And just like that. So that's a good start right now. But his position's compromised. So he has to reposition as much as he can because the hunt is on right now. EG want to be able to find him and remove this rifle so they can't bring it into this next round. And you can already see, I think that's automatic. He's already pushing himself through cave. Being a little bit more patient than I thought they would be. And Brett, he's playing a bit of an awkward angle, but he actually might be able to escape with his life and the rifle, all things considered.
Not bad. And the buy will come out, and as you can see, Freshie did not have a great economy there, and I was actually thinking that Brett would drop one over and they would buy in, maybe give your side anchor as much utility as possible, but it's all fine. Slight still gets out his AWP. Glass cannon, mind you. And I do have to say, in comparison to Go, having a glass cannon AWP in this game feels even more difficult to wield. You can get punished even more easily. So keep an eye out for that high risk, high reward from Slight. He's playing very passive in the back of Cube. And instead it's going to be this fight here in the front of Cave into Junior. Wow, great spam there from Darty.
Yeah, that's a perfect lineup too. And even Brett's doing some big damage. Look at how much is being exchanged against EG right now. George and Automatic, they're both low, under 30 HP. And Wildcard have just kind of done this slow take back onto mid, refighting for it, and now leaving EG with 2 wounded players, limping towards this B site. They got a little bit of utility available, double molly with double smoke. So they could go for the execute here to block off both sides of the cylinders and see what they can do. But this is a tough one too, because they're both going to be essentially one shot, leaving it to Junior at the full HP. He does have his AWP, and they do have just under a minute. But as soon as they throw that PC utility Wildcard, they're just going to jump on this quick.
Slight looking to take an early duel against Junior, but that flash is immaculate. Slight is blinded for so long, he can't even fire off his gun. So they're going to throw a front cave molly and another cross smoke to get into this B bomb site, but Freshie actually gets it before it plumes. And there goes the AWP of Junior as well. Brett plays in front of the smoke, and they still find a way to dispatch of it, despite the fact that Slight actually goes down ahead of the bomb plant. So not bad from Wildcard. You're starting to see them get a little bit more confidence, a little bit more pep in their step to make some more brazen plays, and it's working out. So at the very least, that's giving them some confidence to potentially get themselves back into this game here, Laz.
Yeah, it's looking a lot better here for the CT side, and that's what we were kind of talking about is, Wildcard have really shown us that they can play well on the defensive side. It's been more that offense on the T that's been kind of the big question mark for us. But right now, they were down by, 2-0. They've been able to climb themselves back into this game. They have themselves the lead. Slight's got the AWP ready to go. AWP's going to be on the purchase and on the field here for EG as well. Mid control coming back a little bit here from from Wildcard. They are going to contest it, but they kind of give it up easily. Walco gets himself a good position, but the spray is just a little bit greasy. And it's going to go back and forth here for both sides, but it is Wildcard to take the advantage of it.
Really dicey there from Automatic, but can't actually hold on to the spray. Brett still gets 2, quells that mid control, and Evil Geniuses have to go into a complete standstill, wondering what the plan B is here in the mid round. They're going to try to opt into duel again in middle. Slight actually offers up a fight, but Junior can't convert the shot, actually receives a lot more damage there. And that's again, I mean, now with Junior also being walking wounded, I really don't know how you get through this round. I do like this play, though. Smoking off the red room to feign a lack of a presence from the T's, and then a duel in from George. Cryptic was aware, but a duel still comes out on top for EG, so maybe a route back in here. You know, you've got to really look at Darty and make sure that he stays alive for as long as possible.
Yeah, he's in a tough position right now because he now has to worry about somebody flanking him through mid and CT essentially, and also cave and B ramp. So he's got a few angles to worry about. And you can see 2 of the EG players are just kind of waiting in cave, biding their time. George is going to come for this. Darty has to land this, but his crosshair, he's kind of expecting somebody closer. Now he's been able to clear it. Waiting things out. This is all about timing, man. As soon as they go out, there it is. That's an immediate trade. And that's not bad, all things considered. Bomb's going to go down here too. Both these players from EG, though, under 50 HP against the full HP players here from Wildcard. Junior has to hit this shot. If he misses it, it could be over, but he is going to take him. Bullet right to the chest and leaving it all down to Slight. And the question if he wants to go for it, and it's looking like he's tucking his tail and he's out of here.
He's not aware of the duel that he was able to actually, you know, you'd think that he was the one that legged Junior in the beginning or the middle of that round. Then you'd think that maybe he'd have confidence to go for it with the tagged up Junior, but of course you do have the AWP, so HP is kind of irrelevant in that sense. But you gotta just say that that's just another game of timings there, right? We had Freshie and Darty in the back of the B bomb site trying to stay alive for as long as possible. He turns his head. He managed to even still get 1 kill at the end of it all. But Freshie's trades and or sorry, not Freshie. I believe it was George. George trades, and it makes things a lot easier for Evil Genius to get onto that bomb site, get Junior comfortable in an afterplant, and Wildcard can't really do anything at that point.
Yeah, it's really good communication and coordination that came in from EG. The fact they were able to just, again, they knew what to do. They knew there was a risk that one of them was going to get taken out, but that trade should be almost instant, which it was. So it was almost picture perfect. Slight going to get the boost now. Does Junior expect it? Oh my goodness, they both kind of miss it.
Oh!
They're both Neo from the Matrix, but it's going to be a good nade coming in. Cryptic, though, he's got the shotty, but it's just going to be a swing and a miss.
You really believe in there. Shotguns have been picked up quite a few times by pros here. Another great flashbang from Junior, and a hit through the boxes, but no conversion on the follow-up shot. And they're through into the A bomb site, trying to avoid Slight's AWP. And they've got the cutoff for the pistols, and the bomb is actually dropped. Darty goes down, and just Slight left up in this. Bomb still dropped in the middle, but it should be all right. I don't necessarily know if there's a way out here for Slight.
Well, and this is a situation where EG could actually go for the hunt because they know he's here, and they actually do have him in a bit of a pinch. And it kind of looks like that's what they're going to try to go for. Hex just rocks through smoke. Oh my goodness, the biggest disadvantage. Junior going to get close. Oh my goodness, they walk past each other, and Junior gets him. He finally gets his revenge. And EG finally get themselves back into a lead, and we're talking a 4-3 now.
Ooh, that was scary there for Slight, but eventually gets taken care of by EG no matter. And Slight will not have an AWP going into round number 8. A real cause for concern on the CT side. And Alg out instead. He's really tried to opt in for these scoped rifles when he doesn't have the funds for an AWP. And it hasn't necessarily netted him too positive of a result, but you know, I admire the attempt here. Again, Junior loves getting boosted up here early on this T box, but hasn't been necessarily offered anything up yet from Darty. Darty playing a very keen passive game. but that could be to their detriment. The cross smoke has actually come through, and they've just waltzed into the B bomb site. And look at Automatic, man. Automatic tearing through 3 members in middle. It looks so clean there, so pristine there from the vet.
And another!
And it cleans it up. The AUG doesn't even have a chance to fire off a bullet. Automatic rips through Wildcard Gaming.
Man, this is what you love to see from a veteran like Automatic. I mean, this is where you talked about this on the first map. We were saying, like, look, there's a reason he's been sticking around. He's able to, you know, be a menace in the server. And just right there, gets a quad, just locks down middle in the most, you know, unique situation. And Wildcard, they just come right to him, and he just connects all the headshots. And there we go. A 5-3. It's a light pistol round coming in from Wildcard. And this is now something they're going to have to be a little bit creative what they want to do. Double player going to come in cave. Decent nade coming in. Just doing a little bit of damage against Cryptic mainly. He's down to 82. But now Hex can get a little bit more of aggressive angle. Oh, man. He's got an inkling, though. He knows somebody's close on by. But they got to be careful, Paladin. I mean, these pistols up close. This could be really scary and dangerous. And it's a little bit of a switch. Oh, TK damage, but they're going to get the job done. And they're already starting to mop this thing up quickly.
And now Slight is actually boxed in here. That molly might creep up, and it definitely does. Slight can't necessarily get anything to be rewarded. It's just these 2 players on the A bomb site. B bomb site's free for business. 6 rounds, a tie, at least guaranteed here for EG on their T side of Ancient. And that Laz, is just so beautiful if you were an EG fan.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried the fact they're going for a cave fight against pistols. I mean, not the, in my opinion, probably the best area to go with those pistols, like I said, but they got the job done. They made it look really easy. And I mean, these teams have played against each other on this map before. So again, I'm wondering if EG's been able to kind of, you know, anti-strat and kind of know a few gimmicks that come in from Wildcard, but now the pistols have to be saved here from Wildcard. I mean, this is now where they're sitting both at, you know, that $2,000 range. And EG have put themselves at a 6-3. And I'm wondering what we'll see differently for this gun round, Paladin, because we have seen, you know, mid getting contested, but not fully, you know, aggressive. They kind of do like a late bit, or more of a late pop rather than the normal, I would say. Yeah,
there hasn't been that outright default control being taken. We have the double mollies to carpet the top of mid. You don't have that donut player fighting with you as well, so it just kind of feels like a meager attempt at taking middle, and Evil Geniuses are very aware of that. They're very okay with just expending that first phase utility and then re-aggressing after. You saw the punish from Automatic. You've seen punishing from other players that come through lane like HexT. So far, again, they aren't really opting in to duel, and essentially Walco and Automatic really have free reign of a very key part of the map.
Even Cryptic's trying to get a little bit more adventurous here too, just jump, or not even jump spotting, but just kind of jiggle peeking here for mid information. And EG, they've actually kind of abandoned this mid take, and they're doing a bit of a 4-1 split. So they're going to have Hex kind of being, again, lurking outside the B ramp doors, but and Freshie was playing a tight angle. Now the smokes are going to come through. That's going to be the CT one coming in. Temple's going to be thrown. So they have themselves some good blockage. Molly now going to make it even more problematic here for Slight. But he's able to find 1 kill. Another Molly, and it's going to be jeorge able to find a second one. And it's just headshot galore right now for EG. They just slaughter this site, leaving it down to Darty. Someone that was able to put up 4 kills in the first round, but I think he's going to have to concede defeat for now and save this M4 if he can.
Yeah, as soon as they get that opening A main kill from Evil Geniuses, Wildcard look to scamper back onto the bomb site, realizing they don't have a donut player. They've lost mid control. They don't even have CT Temple control. There's essentially no way back into this other than trying to duel ahead of the utility. If the bomb goes down, we're screwed. We don't really have any outs, but sadly, that's a very low win percentage situation. It's pretty much a Hail Mary, hoping that you get some lucky headshots or maybe a fumble from some of the T's trying to get the bomb down. And they're going to try to duel mid this time around, but again, the utility has just been primo in middle from EG, and they get themselves another fantastic 2 opening kills.
Now they're going to try to re-aggress into this, and Walco, he's going to be able to find himself that double there too. Leaving it just down to Slight. He's going to come through cave. full face of lead, and there we go. An 8-3 as we get EG. Now we're going to be pushing into the last round of this first half. And for Wildcard, I mean, they started things off with a great comeback, but really, EG have been able to just take themselves back into control of this game. And, I think for Wildcard fans, this would be huge for them to get that fourth so they can have something to transition into for the second half. But man, if EG can find this, I mean, they're going to be sitting pretty. I mean, we saw how, efficient they are on the defense.
Yeah, their protocols have been airtight on overpass, as we saw with the just immaculate defense. And now, at least something to boast here for Wildcard as they get that opening pick from freshie. Finally, some mid presence is being achieved. But Cryptic actually tries to go aggressive in cave. Rare situation here from the IGL to go all the way out. But look at all this presence that they've got because of it. Now they've got all of this lane control. They can keep re-smoking this, and they can potentially cheat over rotates. And look at that. A main aggression caught between a rock and a hard place. Freshie aggresses, sends his gun out through the end of the map, and now Junior has a chance to potentially duel. But hey, it's a wild idea from Wildcard, and somehow it sticks.
Yeah, no pun intended, right? And I mean, this is now Hex by himself, a 1-on-4, and that's going to be a short dream, but that's going to be the first half, 8-4. We're going to take that short break as we get ready for the second half.
You feel the same way too. I'm gonna hold on to you, hold on. I can't believe it's so true. Whenever you touch my hair, I'm feeling closer to you. Nothing else can compare. And higher we fly, admire the beautiful things you do. So right with you, I'm gonna hold on to you, hold on. Hope you feel the same way too. I'm gonna hold on to you, hold on. It never felt so right with you. I'm gonna hold on to you, hold on. Hope you feel the same way too. I'm gonna hold on to you, hold on. It never felt so right with you. I'm gonna hold on to you, hold on. Hope you feel the same way too. I'm gonna hold on to you.
Well, we're finally back. It's a short break, and it's going to be an 8-4 here gain for EG. And now Wildcard, they're going to have to prove us wrong if they can gain some T rounds to put themselves in the conversation of a third map. Laz and Paladin going to walk you through that one.
Hoping that Wildcard would have had a better defense, but it doesn't matter. Now they only have one half potentially separating themselves between elimination or map number 3. If starting off strong here in this pistol, finally something to smile about in the Wildcard camp. 2 picks for them, a bomb plant, a great A post plant positions. What could go wrong here, Laz?
What could go wrong? And that's a good start right there. Junior finds a nice little bit of an angle, but he's going to get caught with the reload and the dualies. They're going to be able to find it, and there we go. These pistols are starting to do some good work, and unless Hex can find something with the dualies, we might be able to see another T round coming into full effect right now for Wildcard. With these dualies, they just got to connect on 3 people, but it's only going to be 1, and there we go.
So, Wildcard actually do get themselves both pistols, funnily enough. And yet they're still down 5-8. So, a long way to go here for Wildcard, and really tells the tale of how behind they've been in terms of the buy round so far. But regardless, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, they're still trying to find a way to claw their way back into this best of 3. And Evil Geniuses will opt to take in the complete default pistol approach, play as conservative as possible. I like this. I will continue to say that in this format of the game, it is unadvisable to go for the force buy, considering the amount of risk that you'd have to put into it. So I really do like that Evil Geniuses are opting against the force buy out the gates.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up too, because I was saying the exact same thing. It's like, look, for EG, if they can just kind of go for the full save, try to see if they can find, a little consolation prize here and there, with a pistol kill. Sure, that's good. That's not a bad situation. Now we're going to see the full money effect coming in. This is where the rifles are going to be placed. This is a big round. This is where if EG lose this, this puts Wildcard at a pretty good opportunity to bring this back to a tie game, potentially. But this is also the moment where EG could really just kind of squash things around a little bit here. Some good utility usage coming in, and Darty, he's already eaten down to 50 HP of damage. Whoa. And there he is. He's gone through a smoke, and Walco's just going to find him. And poor Darty, he didn't get to see anybody at all in round number 15.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, I've been chipped by nades, and then, I'm just dead somehow. And that's a great little start here for Evil Genius's first buy round. Keep in mind that this is a bonus situation from Wildcard, so that all that damage that Darty took is essentially to get in the face of EG, try to get early cave control, and it just doesn't work out this time around. And in that 4v5, with no A main control, I think they've kind of forced their hand into this B pressure and hope that they can win an opening duel here against Walco or perhaps even Junior.
Yeah, and Walco's got the FAMAS too, so he's holding this tight angle. This isn't the best gun in the world to have on this kind of an angle. And he's going to hold his ground, and the Gleo's going to do one better as Freshie's going to be able to find himself too. Molly now going to cook up onto Hex, but he's able to get this spray. He actually runs through it, and Hex again. I don't know how he's winning these engagements. He goes to a fight reloading, but Freshie's down to 13 HP, and that one's done. But a little bit of a chaotic round, to say the least, here for 15, but EG are going to be able to find themselves that first gun round, and like you talked about, now we're going to see Wildcard. They're going to have enough resources to go for it again.
Yeah, I do. In all honesty, Wildcard should be happy with the best case scenario in a lost round, where you see that Evil Geniuses go down to 2 members. They don't actually retain the A4, both A4s. So they do have to just reinvest in the A1Ss, so not the priority rifles in play. MP9 on Hex. So that lackadaisical play from Hex beyond those first 2 kills does come back to cost him. But regardless, now finally with the buyout for Wildcard, they take so much damage, but at least they have that cave control that they've been looking for.
Well, and the thing is too, look at the difference that we're seeing in the second half from EG. The utility damage is just something to take note of here. Both Cryptic and Darty, they're already so wounded. They haven't seen anybody. The nades with the mollies, in the connection of each other, they're able to get themselves some good engagement. A nice little bit of a 1-2 coming in here from the cave. They clean things up. Now just leaving Wildcard down to 3. They don't have any utility either. So now they have nothing to work with to get themselves any sort of site control. This is going to be about firefights, and that hasn't been the strongest for them in this department. This is where EG have really started to prevail. And I mean, they do have a smoke and an HE available here in the back of Wolco. And they're going to place it just now. Man, that timing. Now they're just going to have to fight for this. They have to. This is desperate. Desperation starting to kick in. Slight should be able to find it. He does. He sneaks through. A bit of a smoke criminal. And he's able to find 2. Bomb's going to go down. And this firefight is going to work out, leaving it just down to George on a 1-on-3.
I do love that Slight is able to cheat through that smoke. Smokes are not walls in any form of Counter-Strike. And Slight shows us how deadly that can be. Molly that was picked up from a dead teammate actually wins them the round from Freshie. Should that Molly not go down, that's a potential duel being offered up again in the 1v2. But Wildcard find a way without any utility. I mean, that is such an ugly round to try to get over the line, right? You take that early cave control, you actually lose that part of the map, and both players that are residing in there, you're smoked off as well. It feels like absolutely hopeless in that situation, but they find a way to just dig themselves out of that hole. Maybe there's legs to this best of 3 yet here, Laz.
Very well it could be. And like you said, I mean, the smokes are definitely not walls, but the fact that smoke went a little bit deeper than I think they intended it to allowed that gap for them to get that, Slight to have that bit of an opening to take down that one player in the ninja spot. And now EG, again, a full save coming in. Double flashes coming in from Wolco with just a P250 here for Junior. Brett could have an opportunity here to put up some multi-kills. A lot of nades coming in from Wildcard deep on CT, and it actually does take down Hex. So the pin's going to hit his teeth. And now, I mean, they're just kind of looking for exits. I mean, they're trying to do whatever they can just to maybe take a body or 2 here from Wildcard. But this is an 8th round gain guaranteed for Wildcard, which makes it a 1-round differential. And there we go. The slaughter comes in. All right.
Completely blind there with Slight. You'd think that he'd go down, but Guardian Angels behind him. All's good. 1 round the difference now between Wildcard and EG, gaining slowly in momentum and in rounds. Still no AWP out for Evil Geniuses. Junior will still relegate himself towards that A4. I do like the little animations that they have.
Yeah.
That you can
it always throws me off, I just, like, it's so hard to get used to. You're like, oh yeah, that's a thing now. And yeah, they're just hilarious. But Cryptic actually,
what?
A run and gun in middle? Excuse me? All right. That's a way to make a statement here for round number 18. And now all of a sudden, I mean, this is where EG were able to find themselves, at least 2 openers right away. But Wildcard have kind of done the exact same thing. And Slight's going to be able to take down Wolco. He digs them up. And there we go. Down to 2 players remaining, Junior and Hex. And again, they don't have a kit. So they're going to have to firefight this and maybe even try to go for these saves unless they can win these duels. That's not a bad start.
All right, so 2v4 for Evil Geniuses to try to piece together. They've gotten themselves mid-control, and Wildcard are completely avoiding the A bomb site altogether. So it's going to be lane control quickly gained by EG to potentially try to get themselves back into this. Junior is actually just off to save immediately, and Hex hasn't honestly been offered up anything. So because of that, he's very willing to just give up this round here, make it even Stevens, and potentially try to go at it again in the round following. But man, Cryptic just tearing things apart in a matter of seconds in middle, doing his best automatic impression, in all honesty.
Yeah, it kind of was, right? I mean, it kind of looked like something you see from automatic, but does one a little bit better. And both these EG players are just having a bite and donut right now, just kind of waiting things out. Wildcard were going for the hunt, but not going to be in the case right now. But we'll have to see what EG want to do a little bit differently now. You can see the money situation for all 3 players that are not alive. It's a bit of a blunder here. We're sitting at that, high 2000s and 3. So, I mean, they could purchase, some guns to work around this, which I kind of feel like might be the play, in my opinion, just so that they can kind of, work around as much as possible.
Yeah, pistols do definitely feel like the name of the game here. No need to completely invest, especially considering your max loss bonus is basically tapped out now. Instead, try to get these these rifles involved as quickly as possible. Nice, decent little chip damage here for EG, but Darty still gets through lane completely unscathed, basically. And they get that mid control that they've been looking for all half long. And with that, A splits on the cards. I mean, EG stack feels pretty much useless at this point. But perhaps they can get some information off of this push here into lane.
Yeah, I like the creativity, though. They kind of have to do something with these pistols, and it's a nice way for them to work on it. But Junior actually does get spotted now. Smoke's going to block him off, so he's not going to be able to assist this. So now just leaving George. Look at the position he's in. He's on this tree position, and Cryptic, he knows it. Reads him like a book, takes him down. And again, these rifles are still in the field here for EG, but, I mean, they've lost this site. The bomb's already made its way into this. This might be a moment where, again, they just want to keep these M4s in the rotation, and they got to just run away with them and leave Walko by himself to maybe find a kill on a gun.
Yeah, and who would have thunk it? Wildcard are actually the first team to hit double digits here. Slowly starting to run away with this one. Opening kills just coming so frequently to Wildcard's hands. And EG just don't have a response. They don't have a way to pull anything back. It feels as though once the opening kills come through, Cryptic has just made the right decision in terms of the mid-round, and the rounds have just run away from EG. So we've got to look for some answers here for Wildcard to potentially respond with, or sorry, EG to potentially respond with. And until then, I mean, it feels like smooth sailing here for the T's.
Well, again, like the biggest question that, I think we both were kind of having was, the T side here for Wildcard. And I mean, now they've been able to bring themselves back into a lead. Mm-hmm. I never thought we would have been in this kind of a position, but a quick little pause, but it's going to be done now. And the money here is available for EG, and the op will be purchased for Junior. So we'll see where he wants to go with that. It will be interesting to see his positioning. I think that's going to be a key point here for him. He's going to have to find something to get that opener. And that was the other thing, too. On map number 1, we saw EG just winning engagements, first. 9 times out of 10, they were pretty much winning those. Now, I mean, it's Wildcard that have been able to get those entries on the T side, which has really created a lot of problems here for EG to get any sort of momentum. But I would talk about momentum, and Cryptic's down to 4. So I think that momentum's looking pretty good in terms of utility damage.
Yeah, at least that's something to write home about for Evil Geniuses, that they've gotten that much damage in already, and now you're trying to re-aggress to take mid control as well. So things looking up for the CTs here in this round. Just a complete landlock out in Cave itself as that primes Junior into the opening duel. So the op rings true, and a matter of timing, that is brutal on Walko. Teed up for a beautiful frag, but just pulls the pin too early and gets punished for it. But thankfully, Hex is there to trade, reflash in the lane, and they still retain the man advantage, thankfully.
And look at Freshie now. He's actually made his way through long. Oh, he might be able to get this timing, but George actually gets the better of him, but it is costly. Down to 46. They needed that right there, EG. If he would have lost that, they could have been a free sight. Automatic locking down middle once more. Slight's going to remove his head, though. A 1-on-3, 30 seconds remaining. George with a quick peek at a donuts, and he barely survives that one, but they're going to bring it back to the tie game. And what an interesting round, and we're pushing this thing to the distance now. This is the highest score we have seen coming in from Wildcard out of all day today.
Yeah, and I'm happy to see it. It's just so much more confidence in taking these early aim duels. They don't care if they're taking early damage or whatnot. They're still going to stand and fight, but I mean, hey, if they aren't able to convert this map, at the end of the day, it's still going to be a 0-4 in maps for this Wildcard squad. And sure, they've come in as a replacement for Complexity, but this is a tenured roster that we were hoping for big things to potentially rustle some feathers in this bracket. Still another chance to do so, but Walko trying to shut things down early. There's Hex chiming in on lane as well. Beautiful flash there from Automatic to prime him up there. And this 5v3 spells disaster for the T's.
Well, they've been in this position before. They can definitely do it again. And now Freshie's going to lead the charge here. He's got the rifle out. He's able to find Hex, but a little bit of a crossfire he goes against. Flash is coming in high from Jeorge, so this is going to be a good way for them to get some more control. A nice nade thrown. That's going to be able to bring things to a 2-on-3. Still the EG and the player advantage. Brett now trying to see if he can find something. He's by himself, but that bomb's going to creep all the way back a little bit slowly through cave. They got lots of time to work with, though, Paladin. I mean, they still just have under, the 50-second mark. If they can catch the timing, this could be everything.
No.
But he made noise, man. He made all the footsteps. He's just thundering through here. So EG's not going to leave.
I really like the idea to just pump the brakes, potentially cause a rotation to come over. But yeah, as you said, footsteps giving up the name of the game. Brett goes down to slivers of HP. And now it's just Slight to potentially hold on to this lead here. Smoked off the cave at this point. Just tuck tail, save that AWP. And Evil Geniuses chime in for a beautiful B hold there. You have Walco first round in the half where he's actually gone into the cave to duel. You have Hex being primed in by a flashbang from automatic. And the trades are just immaculate to basically retain that B bomb site. And they hold strong in that mid to late round as well.
First time out going to be called here from Wildcard. And I mean, this is a good amount of time to do it because, again, the op's going to be saved. Double AK is going to be purchased up. Darty's got plenty of cash too, so he can go for the full rifle. And Cryptic, he'll just have to do something a little bit more of the budget buy. But I feel like we're kind of seeing Wildcard right now. It almost looks like they're trying to, it almost feels like overthinking on something. Mm-hmm. And then now it's starting to blunder a little bit more. Whereas I felt before, they were just kind of, more like freelance, and they were kind of winning these fights and getting map control a little bit more convincingly.
Yeah, I think it is just that lack of pressure that allows for just making simple CS work. I think that's the name of the game. I think Wildcard just need to go back to what's made them so successful prior to, and it's just that confidence to take some opening engagements, have some basic flashes and Molotovs to potentially prime them into these duels. And I haven't necessarily seen that too much on Overpass, but here on Ancient, you've at least started to see the signs of that. Now, Evil Geniuses have found the correct answers to it with constant re-aggression and getting in their faces on the other side of the coin. And now they're just going to try to contact into this B bomb side. Junior gets the opening, and there's Walco to chime in with the double. Junior gets his second as well. And that B contact play just completely falls flat in its face. And that's all the funds actually being expunged from Wildcard's coffers. This is just the worst time to have your finances in a twist. This is your tournament lives on the line. And we could be saying bye to Wildcard very, very early on here.
Yeah, and I'm just so surprised they went for the, the dry peek into the site, especially with all these guns and the investment they put into it. That's such a bold move to make, and it just backfired on them, tenfold. And now, I mean, this is going to be so difficult because look at what they're working with. Like, look at these SMGs. You never see it. And now Junior trying to make a highlight reel. He's able to find two. Not that third, though. Gets traded out by his teammate, leaving it just down to a Galil and Tech 9 remaining. They try to put the pedal to the metal, and this thing might be over very quickly as they just bamboozle them right now, leaving it all down to Freshie, looking to see what he can do. And EG, they have been able to secure this game with a 13-10, and they are able to keep themselves alive in this, Paladin. And again, we're going to be saying goodbye to Wildcard.
We have had some absolute blowouts here today on the D stream, and Wildcard just simply could not find a way to get themselves activated.